Number two, simplicity. You want to practice with something that you're going to use in a moment's notice, so you don't really need to think too much about it. And when you reach down in your pocket, you know, it's right there. You pull up, flick it open, it's ready to go. You want to practice a lot. Number one, you don't drop it. And the main thing is you want to practice realistic, simple things that are going to work. That's why I promote limb targeting. Hitting the hands, cutting the limbs. I stay off the cavity. I don't have any use for any of that. I stay off the throat. You know, I think the eyes are important. Even faking for the eyes, you know, is important to get a person to flinch, as it were, or move any way you want. But outside of all that, there's simple exercises that you can practice to get it out, get it deployed. Okay? Again, I'm going to use the pendulum. Okay? I use this a lot. It's a great tool. It just simulates the feet, and it makes you think about range. Okay? So the first one you want to think about, obviously, if you swing this, it's coming right for you, correct? So what you want to practice doing, okay, when this comes forward, is pulling your knife out and being able to have it ready. Another thing that's really important, don't pull your knife out and stick your hand way out here. Don't do that. Okay? You want to keep it as tight to your body as possible. Okay? See how it's really tight to my body right now? Right? So when you pull it out and flick it into position, it's right here. Okay? So you can go into any kind of things that you need to do. This is a straight blade, but I happen to like the serrated blades because you can catch the flesh, you can turn the bone, you can do a lot of things with the serrated blade that you can't do with the flesh straight blade like this. This will catch a little bit, but it basically wants to slide through. A serrated blade will grab, and you can actually manipulate the bone. Now, when you practice things like this, you want to first just have this be static, okay? And so you stand up on it, and you get used to what's a safe distance. First thing you want to do is not pull the blade. You want to get distance, then pull the blade. You may need your hands in the process. Make sense? So, this first motion, and each time I'm reclipping it, okay, and you're always in a sticky situation, or you know, you got your radars going, you see something's not quite right, I'll always put my hand in, my thumbs over the ring on the knife, that little hole I showed you. If I need it, I just pull it, it's out. Okay, that's training awareness. You should have this kind of awareness. It's not a paranoia at all. It's a training awareness. If I can't do these things, why am I carrying a blade? Okay, because this is just a little tool. It's an assister. It'll assist what you're doing. It, yeah, it can have some lethality, but here's the deal with all that stuff. Is lethality necessary? For me, I want to shut the function down so I can get safe. And I'm a firm believer that you can do that without getting caught up in all this lethality bullshit. That's ridiculous. You want to shut the function down of the attack. That's why the limbs. That's why the hands. That's why the feet. Make sense? So that's the beginning and end of my kind of training. And when we use weapons, that's the aim of the weapon, for me. I have no interest in practicing slitting the throat, gutting a pig, doing any of that shit. To me, it's ridiculous. Okay, I live in America. I can only carry certain things. There are laws, and so for me, that's how I train. That's how I teach. You know, self-defense law is something I'll address down the line. But that's also another factor that a lot of people don't take into mind. You can't do what you want. You can only do what's necessary, and that's a huge, huge topic. And most people get it wrong. Why? Because they're not trained. But anyway, I don't want to get off on the wrong road here. I want to talk about getting the knife out. So, you first want to stand still, all right? You want to practice stepping with your left foot backwards. You put your weapon hand first. Draw. Put the blade next to your hip. All right? If somebody reaches in to try to clinch, it's right there. Do not extend it. That's not the deal. Then, put it back in your pocket. Do that till you're comfortable with it. Then step back on the weapon side, would be your right foot. Okay, pull it out, put the blade shit. Now you have your live hand or your empty hand that's useful out here. Those are the two ways. Okay, right side, left side. When you're going forward and when you're going backwards. Now when you're going forward, do you step before you take the blade out? No. You take the blade out, then you step. Why? You have the room. Make sense? Same thing, either foot. Take the blade out and then step, whether it's the left or the right. Okay, now, when we're moving to the side, that's self-explanatory, right? To my right, what am I going to use? My right foot, obviously. I know it sounds dumb, but it's true. My left foot, okay? We're not talking about oblique entries or any of that stuff yet. So, now when I go to step to my right, I'm usually trying to flank something that's in front of me, right? So, I won't be stepping forward necessarily, but I probably will be employing my live hand, my empty hand, on some level, even if it's touching. So, as you step, you draw the blade. So that's going to put your blade backwards. You can always step and put your blade forward. Now, when we step to the left, and I'm right-handed, what's the interesting factor here? Right? So, pull blade, step. See that? Now my left hand's back. Now you hear a lot of people say, you know, you always want your blade hand forward, or you always want your live hand forward. I say train both. Obviously for you never know what's going to happen. Just like I always say train right and left side. What I mean by that is twofold. I train both sides with the weapon. I also, if I had the weapon in my right hand, I want to face a left-hander from my right side. If I have the weapon in my left hand, I want to face a right-hander. Okay? Does that make sense? You always want to cross-reference yourself and an opponent. It's simple when it's, I'm right-handed, they're right-handed. Okay? But how's it make it for them if they're right-handed and I'm left-handed? That changes things a little bit. It's not as complicated as you might think. And if you train that way, it really doesn't matter what's happening. You can adapt, you can adjust. You develop a confidence level. But I can't stress range control enough, especially with a weapon. Okay? Just like when we pull a firearm, we don't pull it and raise our hands like this. No, 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 right? It's tucked, and then we present the weapon. This is the same concept here. It's tucked, then we present the blade. Make sense? Okay. So again, remember, now when we start adding the pendulum, all it is coming here, boom, it'll hit me, right? What am I trying to watch? Okay, here's what you look for. Remember when we step back on the first drill, you present the blade, see this gap? I can't touch it, right? Almost, that's what you want. So, when this thing is coming and I wait to here, if I get inside, this, see the idea? It's pushing out here, I need to be moving now. You do not wait for it to get here. If this hits you, you've been cut, or stabbed, or punched, or kicked, or whatever. Does that make sense? So when you push this away, right, and you then, bang, I have to move. So now when that's getting closer, it's deployed, it's ready to go, and I'm not extending myself. Plus, I'm not being crowded. So when you add the pendulum involved, and you have to get this bad boy out and are ready to work, see, your hand's ready to go, you sense some trouble, right? So when it comes, boom, now you have to move, get ready to go. See? Room's kind of short, sorry about that. But see the idea? Is I'm backing up. And as soon as you feel your foot hit something like I did, on the sliding glass door there, you don't panic, you just stop, you relax, you tuck your tail, you drop your knees. But these kind of things are really, really important to get this out. And like I said, there's not a lot of people that stress this, but to me it's everything. It only makes sense if we're going to practice using the blade. Okay, now this could be a pocket stick, anything you have in your pocket, you know. On my keychain I have a steel ball on the end of it, like a monkey fist, so to speak. It's There's all kind of ways, but the concept is the same. It could be a pen in your pocket. Anything you deploy, you keep tight. And then you use it as needed. Because remember, distance buys you time. If this thing is coming at you, you get the hell out of there, right? Now, here's another thing to consider. When we have to engage, it's a decision, usually. Why do I say that? Because you invade or you evade. You're going to be invasive. Eventually you have to invade to shut the function down, right? Sometimes you have to invade to evade. So I'm not trying to be confusing or anything, but it's true. If all of a sudden I'm standing here and I deploy the blade and I see it come, bang, then I cut, boom. The same drill. Now I'm evading, right? But I had to invade first. Or just like I have to step back, boom. Now I'm evading. I see the attack coming, bang. Then I have to invade to get out. So invading and evading are two halves of the same coin, and you should practice these things. And you should clearly understand how they work. Not just do rote techniques. And move when you're doing stuff. Don't sit still. That's the biggest mistake a lot of people make. They get caught up in these drills and they're not moving. That's not real. The drills can be absolutely used, but you need to practice it with movement. Somebody really invading your space. And I love all the drills too, and I do them, but I teach them at first like anybody else, standing still. But at the same time, that's abandoned very quickly because I want movement and I want the range control going on. And that's what the pendulum is very good for. So anyway, that was the whole idea. I was thinking about that today, and I thought, you know what? I want to go back online and I want to talk about deploying the blade, bringing it up. And you don't need a big old blade, plus it gets you in trouble. Remember, for most places in California, I don't know about other states, basically the size of your palm, you'll be okay. All right? So that's what you want. It doesn't matter if it's serrated, straight blade, or both. Again, I like the serrated because it grips, plus it cuts rope. This thing's pretty cheap. It's, in terms of an actual knife that's worth a shit, it's not. But for a self-defense tool, it's perfect. It doesn't cut all that great, and I'm not that impressed with it. It's like I said, it's a $20 knife. So if I lose it, I'm not upset about that. But it's a cool self-defense tool, And even if you don't open it, it's a hand pack. Boom, you can hit. You use the puño. But if it's open, you can also ride the ridge with your thumb, and then you have limited poking. It gets the job done. Somebody punches you, bang. You know what I mean? Bang, bang. You do a lot of cool things with these small blades. Don't think you have to carry this big-ass Bowie knife. Those are cool, but they're illegal to carry. And you're going to get hassled. So my whole mindset is to work with what I am allowed to carry, and also within the law of self-defense. And it's important that you go out and you study these things. Mark Rick Young has a great book. Rory Miller has great books on these subjects. They're phenomenal. And I have all of Roy's books, all of Mark's books, and I've studied them. Why? It's important to understand. You roll up on a situation and all of a sudden, oh shit, I got to defend myself. Or you have to defend somebody else. You have to be able to explain from beginning to end why. And why you were justified. This is important. We don't think about, oh, I'll just defend myself. I'm just going to say self-defense. The second you say self-defense, you're admitting to a crime. Okay? How does that sound, huh? That sounds like, what? That's bullshit. No, it's true. This is why it's very important to study this stuff. Okay. Anyways, that's what I wanted to share tonight. I hope it's of value to some of you out there. You can follow me on YouTube, please. And you can email me at billyboston@gmail.com or combativefitnessworkshop@hotmail.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions and chat with people. I don't hear so good, but if you're in front of me, I read your lips, and obviously I talk fine. At least I hope I do. Please excuse the work clothes every time I'm on, but that's just kind of how it works. I get a little excited to get up here and talk. And anyway, thank you for your time. I hope you all have a good evening. I hope everybody enjoyed their Valentine's, and we'll see you next time. Take care now.